welcome back to the shop. This is Zach over at MD Woodworks. Time for another weekly update. So this week was a little bit quieter, let's say, than the last couple weeks. I didn't have a whole lot of products to make or sell. You know, I didn't have a lot of sales this week or orders, and I've been kind of waiting to wrap up a few orders on some supplies, basically. So kind of quiet in the shop, but we'll just roll into it. I did a little bit of different stuff. I wasn't really doing casting or product sales. I was doing a little bit of turning, stepping out of the comfort zone a little bit with that for me. So we'll just roll right into it. First thing I want to do is mention that the Summers Woodworking 2x4 challenge has begun as of the posting of this video. So make sure you get your idea, get your 2x4, and then, you know, make your thing, and then you post your video. Let Brian over at Summers Woodworking know about it, and he'll get it in the playlist, and you'll be kind of entered into the contest for the prizes. So check that out. If you can't enter, definitely go over and check out the playlist. I'll have, I don't know if I'll have the playlist actually in this video yet, but I'll have a link to Brian's channel so that you can check it out and find out about that. But I'll mention it in the upcoming weeks, I guess, on this video. So check that out. So this week, so last week I finished up the duck calls, the double die stabilize kind of thing. I haven't been able to turn them yet because I was waiting on a mandrel. So I'm sure there's lots of ways. I actually did research this. There's a lot of ways to actually turn a duck call. But after looking at the different ways to do it, I found an expanding mandrel. So this thing has a number 2 Morse taper that fits into my headstock spindle, and then it's got this 5/8, I think it's about 5/8, you know, shaft. And what happens is you tighten a screw in there, and it expands this mandrel and holds the duck call on there. So you drill it 5/8 hole through your duck call, and then it just slides onto this. You tighten it, and it just sits there. So this was the best method that I thought when I was looking at the different ways to do it. So I'm excited that I finally have this thing, and I'm going to be turning some duck calls next week. Let's see. The other thing that I did this week really was different types of turning. I tried some new things. So at my local wood turning club, they have a hands-on event once a month, usually once a month. And this month I went to it and said, I never turned a bowl before, I want to learn. And so the cool thing about this hands-on, they have a bunch of lathes. One of the members has this big shop, and the club actually owns, I don't know how many, but like 5 or 6 of the Delta MIDI lathes. And I think they even have, like, actually own one of the full-size ones that's in this guy's shop. So you can go and, you know, do whatever, get some help from other members that have more experience than you. If you don't even have a lathe or tools, you can go turn on this day, basically. So pretty cool stuff. So I said, you know, I want to learn how to turn a bowl. And the cool thing was I had a member that had more experience with turning, you know, bowls standing there right next to me. We chucked up this little piece of, you know, just whatever pine that we found outside, chucked it up, and he helped me. And, you know, this bowl is pretty ugly. It's obviously not even finished or anything, but I wasn't really paying attention to the shape of the bowl. I wasn't worried about that. I'd never even held a bowl gouge, or, you know, it's a little bit different than turning a pen, let's just say. So I was really just kind of practicing with the cuts and learning, you know, the actions a little bit with the guidance of that other member. So ugly bowl. I'm going to finish it up one of these days. One of the problems is I have a Barracuda chuck, and I don't particularly love the jaws. They're not dovetail. And this, actually, the spigot that we cut in this is actually even too small for the jaws that I have for that chuck. So I actually plan to buy, I'm debating, I'm either going to get a Nova chuck or a Vicmark. I'd like to just get a Vicmark. They seem to be well liked by everybody, and I like the closed-end design and all that stuff, but the Novas are a little bit cheaper, and the jaws work on any of the Nova chucks, so I'm kind of debating what to do on that. But one of these days, I'm going to finish this bowl up. Actually, the other thing that I need to do is get bowl gouges. I don't have any bowl gouges, so I don't need a lot of them. I just need one, but I don't have any right now. So on that front, I decided I'm going to go with the quick release handle. So you have one handle and a bunch of different tool steels that you can interchange. I like that idea better than having to, you know, have a handled tool for each one of these things, because if I ever do demos, I don't want to be taking 50 tools. I'd rather just take the steels and be able to have, you know, 2 or 3 of the same exact bowl gouge, or, you know, whatever I'm using. Have them all sharpened up, ready to go, and when one gets dull, you just switch it out, put it in the handle, and you keep going. And even for the shop, that's how I want to do it. So I think I'm going to go with the Thompson lathe tool type thing. Actually, Jimmy Clue sells a quick release thing that you make your own handle. He's got the little quick release thing that you glue into your handle, and you can. He's got a couple bowl gouges that he sells, but Thompson lathe tools has the rest of them that all fit in this thing. So I think that's the direction that I'm going to go with my tools for the most part. So that just requires money, but I'll finish that up one of these days. The other thing that I did this week was turned my first couple of lidded boxes. Just turning this little lidded box, these are fun. If you have a lathe and you haven't turned a lidded box, I definitely recommend doing that. Carl Jacobson, Sam Angelo, and Mike Walt all have good videos explaining, you know, the process. It's very easy to do these. Getting the tenon and all the, you know, the lid to fit and everything, that's a little bit more work, but I got some practice, but I want to start, you know, working on the shape, the profile of these things, and I'm hoping to start selling these as ring boxes. So ring box version 2.0 coming up. So I have one other thing that I want to talk about. First, I'm going to go through the viewer picks, photos that they sent, projects they're working on, and then I want to kind of talk about, I got a plan, little project plan for the shop that I got to move the camera for. So we'll go through the viewer picks. Terry sent me photos of casting that he did. He used like the shavings, Alumilite, or I'm not sure exactly what resin he was using, but they're shavings cast, you know, in resin. And then he made bottle stoppers and pendants. So his shavings blanks turned out to be pretty cool, and I don't know if it had to do more with the pen. You know, I was making pen blanks out of them, and they just didn't turn out phenomenal. Bottle stoppers are, you know, it's not like you have a tube going through the middle of it, so I'm thinking that the shavings might work better on things where you don't have tubes, you're not drilling through the center of it and all that stuff. So Terry did a fabulous job on the pendant and the bottle stopper, but the casting is really amazing. It looks great. So thanks for sending that in, Terry. Michelle sent me, she had a question about casting, but what she does is she makes fishing rods, you know, like the handles. And so she sent me some pictures of what she's made already, and then she's going to start using Alumilite. So that should be pretty cool. Thanks again for sending that picture over, Michelle. It's amazing with the resin casting. I love seeing all the different types of things you can make with, you know, the casting resin. Like, you can make anything basically, and it's always exciting to see different types of projects that people make. So thanks again, Michelle, for sending that in. And then the last one was Susan turned one of my green apple pine cone blanks. I made Susan some tool handles. She had the Capinetti steel and cutter things, and she wanted a wooden handle, so I made her a couple of those, and she also bought some pen blanks, but I sent her a green apple pine cone one, and she turned that up. So excellent job on this, Susan. I'm still waiting to see the tool handles. She glued them onto the things. I just sent the wood, so I want to see the tools too, but awesome job on the pen. And actually, that's the first time I've ever seen one of the green apple pine cone blanks turned. So awesome. I always loved it. One of the best things for me is seeing people turn my blanks. A lot of times I maybe haven't even seen them, or in my case, usually they're all kind of a unique blank. So it's cool to see different people's, you know, what kit they use, or, you know, whatever they do with it. So thanks again, Susan, for sending that photo in. So now I'm going to come over to the lathe area with the camera, and we're going to kind of talk about something that I got planned for that area. Alright, so the little project that I have planned over at the lathe area is something to kind of help me combat the mess that I make. So what I do is I have a fan over here, and when I'm turning, I just turn this fan on and it blows the dust down the line. Now, I do have a dust collector sitting over there, and I've never hooked it up, on the lathe anyway. But I finally got a little shroud, so that's part of the plan, is just to get a little stand. I might be able to hook it onto this little pole here, but I'm going to have this sitting behind the lathe. honestly, a lot of the chips come off the front and it'll go on the ground, but that's fine. I'm talking about some of the smaller stuff that I blow down the line though. Hopefully this will catch some of it. And the other little part of the plan is this is all plastic. We put plastic all the way around my shop just to kind of keep the sawdust in here and keep my dad's solvents, because he's a machinist, out there. I knew that would be a problem with finishing possibly, and so there was a lot of things. We didn't really want to mix those two. But the plan is I want to put, basically kind of frame in a wall about 8 feet or so just past the lathe, and then have a little bend, a little 90-degree part, so that I effectively create a corner. And what I want to do is I want to kind of split the dust collector into 2 lines, have one line coming into the side of that wall in the corner over there, and then have that other line coming up and actually being right behind the lathe. I'm hoping that instead of having all these shavings fly, the dust just keeps going down the line. There's nothing that really stops it. My drill press is always just covered, and then it's all over my my dust collector bag is just caked. It probably doesn't even work because it's so covered in dust on the outside, and it's on the Festool table and everywhere basically down the line. So that's the plan, is we're going to do a little bit of a wall, and it'll do 2 things. It's going to hopefully contain, I don't know, at least put under control the dust and the shavings and stuff, so that I can just kind of sweep it into the corner and pick it up quick, and probably just turn the dust collector on and just shove all the shavings in there. The other thing that it's going to do, I only have 2 real walls that I can use in this shop, and a third of that wall is lumber storage, which is useless other than lumber. That wall is half useless, so I'd say that half of that wall behind me, which is the long wall that I have, is useless because I got lumber, and then I haven't done anything right over my workbench. I got clamps, and then you come down here and it's all just kind of hodgepodge stuff, but no real storage for a lot of the accessory things that go with tools. So my drill press, all my drills and everything that goes with it are just strewn across the shop. So having a wall that's coming out here, and I'm hoping that I can actually even extend it. We'll have to see how far we can get. Yeah, it's probably going to have to be about 10 feet, but I do want to get a little bit of a wall behind the drill press, and then I'm going to have, this side wall here that I can hang drill bits and all the little accessories and junk that go with the drill press. Behind here, I'm going to have a wall. Number one, it's just not going to look as ugly, but I'll be able to put all my, you see my tools are just strewn around. I'm going to have all my tools right up above my lathe, and all the chucks and all of the stuff that goes with it. It's sitting in a rollaway toolbox right now. All my chisels and gouges are just sitting in there, and I hate that. I want to get them up so that when I want to grab one, I come over here, pick it up, use it, put it back when I'm done, and everything's got kind of a little spot. So I have a lot of little accessories. Another one is sandpaper. When I'm doing the pens, anything, I guess, really, I want to have my 400 grit sandpaper sitting right here with a pair of scissors. I just snip off a little piece and I start sanding. So I'm really excited about that. That should come in the next month or so, whenever I can kind of get to this area and find time to actually start framing this wall. But it should be kind of interesting. It's going to be nice to have storage for this stuff, and hopefully kind of contain the dust cloud that flies down there when I'm turning. Alright, so not a whole lot of stuff going on in the shop necessarily, but it was fun this week, working on these lidded boxes, the bowl. This wall is going to be awesome once I get this thing built, basically. Added, organization and having the tools and accessories right at hand is going to be nice, not having them all over the shop. Having all the drill press accessories, the drill bits and all that stuff, is going to be really nice on the other side of that wall. They'll be all right there, ready to go. So pretty cool stuff happening. One other thing that I will be doing soon, hopefully, I want to revamp my entire website. I want to add shopping, so all the blanks and all that stuff, all my products, they'll be available once I get this thing redone. The other thing is, for every video that I shoot, I want to have a page for it, and if there's any extra information that I can, you know, post, if there's a PDF handout thing that would help to print out and use with whatever I was talking about, I want to have that on my website. So big changes on my website coming. I'm probably just going to have to honestly take off like a week or two from the shop completely and focus on that website. I have a 30-minute commute to my shop, so it doesn't really make sense to come out here and do, you know, a casting and then go home. So might have to just kind of take time off and actually fix that website, because I think it'll help me out a lot, and it'll be more helpful for everyone else too. So keep an eye out for that. But if you have any comments or questions, excuse me, if you have any comments or questions, definitely leave those below. You can email me at zach@envywoodworks.com. I always love getting emails from people. I get a lot of questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? I always hope that I can answer, or at least help out, point you in the right direction. So I love getting that stuff. So don't hesitate to email me if you have questions or comments or anything like that. Other than that, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.